Rain poured over the hospital parking lot as nurse Emily Carter stood under the dim yellow lights, soaked to the bone, clutching the cardboard box that now held everything she owned from the nurses' station. Just 30 minutes ago, she had been saving lives. Now she was unemployed, thrown out without a warning, all because she refused to stay quiet. It had started earlier that day. Emily, a dedicated ER nurse with 10 years of experience, had noticed something wrong. An unconscious patient, a homeless veteran named Mr. Thompson, was being neglected in the hallway. The staff, under new administration, had begun turning away non-paying cases to improve the hospital's efficiency score. Emily had fought back. Every patient deserves care, she'd said firmly to the supervisor, but instead of support, she received a termination letter. "You're too emotional," the HR manager had said coldly. "This is a place of business now." As she stood in the rain, trying to hold her tears, a weak voice called out from behind. "Ma'am, are you all right?" Emily turned. It was the same homeless veteran, Mr. Thompson, wrapped in a thin blanket and limping. He looked even worse than before. "They let me go too," he chuckled sadly. She walked over, her nurse instincts kicking in again. "You need warmth and real care. This isn't right." But before she could say more, a sleek black SUV pulled up to the curb. The window rolled down slowly. A man in uniform, sharply dressed with medals across his chest, stared at them. Both Emily Carter, the man asked, voice firm yet respectful. "Yes," she replied cautiously. "I'm General Marcus L. Hayes. I believe you just helped someone very important to me." Emily's heart skipped. Mr. Thompson looked confused. "You're coming with us," the general said. Emily hesitated, the sound of the rain pounding against the SUV roof as she sat inside next to Mr. Thompson. The vehicle's warmth was a welcome change, but her mind was spinning. General Marcus Hayes sat across from them, his expression unreadable. "Do you know who this man is?" he asked, nodding toward Thompson. She shook her head. "Only that he needed help, and no one was willing to give it." The general's eyes softened. "This man is Sergeant Elijah Thompson. He served 3 tours in Iraq under my command. He's the reason I'm alive." Emily looked at the old man in disbelief. Elijah chuckled weakly. "Didn't think anyone remembered. We never forget," the general replied. The SUV pulled into a private driveway, leading to a modest but well-maintained house with a porch light glowing. Inside, a nurse and staff stood ready. "Bring him in gently," the general instructed. Emily helped lift Elijah with surprising strength for someone so shaken. Once inside, the general turned to her. "You stood up for a man everyone else ignored. That takes guts." "And integrity." Emily lowered her gaze. "It cost me everything, maybe," he said. "Or maybe it opened a new door." He led her into a home office lined with military plaques, photos, and awards. At the center of the room was a laptop and a folder. "I'm on the board of directors for a veteran-run medical foundation," he said, sitting down. "We've been trying to open a new clinic, one that puts care before profit. But we need someone with your kind of heart." Emily's voice trembled. "You want me to work for you? I want you to run the whole thing." She blinked. "I've never run a clinic. We'll support you. You've already proven you have what most places lack, a soul." Just then, her phone buzzed. A viral video was spreading. Footage of her defending Elijah in the ER had been leaked online. Comments poured in, "Nurse, hospitals like that should be shut down." Emily stared at the screen, stunned. The world was watching. Emily barely slept that night. Her mind buzzed with everything: the injustice at the hospital, the general's offer, and now the video going viral. By morning, her phone had over 300 missed notifications. Texts from friends, co-workers, even strangers. Some messages were simple: "We support you." Others were powerful: "You reminded me why I became a nurse." Her eyes welled up. She wasn't alone anymore. By mid-morning, she met General Hayes at a small brick building on the city's east side. It looked abandoned from the outside, But once inside, Emily saw blueprints, stacked medical supplies, and an eager team of veterans and volunteers prepping rooms. "This is going to be the Thompson Free Care Centre," the general announced. Named after the man who reminded us what service really means, Elijah, now freshly bathed and in clean clothes, was sitting in a wheelchair near the window, smiling quietly. Emily walked over and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Looks like you're going to be my first patient," she said with a grin. He laughed. "Long as you don't stick me with too many needles." The warmth in the room was contagious. Veterans hammered shelves to the wall, volunteers organised medicine, a young woman wheeled in a new exam table. This wasn't a clinic yet, but it was becoming one. General Hayes pulled Emily aside. "The press will be here in 2 days. Once we go public, donations will follow, but the heart of this place is you." She nodded, her throat tight. "I just wanted to do the right thing." He smiled. "You did. And now the right things are finding their way back to you." Later that day, Emily stood outside the hospital that had fired her. She wasn't there for revenge. She was there to meet a news crew. As cameras rolled, she shared Elijah's story, not to shame the hospital, but to spotlight what healthcare should look like. And as her story aired across local stations, the city began to notice. Nurses reached out, doctors, even donors. Emily was no longer a nurse out in the rain. She was becoming a leader in a movement. By the end of the week, the Thompson Free Care Centre was buzzing with life. Contractors had volunteered to finish the plumbing, electricians installed new lighting, and local restaurants began dropping off meals for staff and patients. The clinic hadn't even officially opened, but hope was already moving through its halls. Emily walked past the reception desk, now run by a retired Marine named Carlos, and entered the first completed treatment room. She checked the equipment, tested the vitals monitor, and smiled. Everything felt real. General Hayes stepped in behind her. "We've secured enough donations to fund the first 6 months, and guess what? An anonymous donor just gave $250,000 last night." Emily blinked. "Seriously?" He nodded. "They said they were inspired by the nurse who refused to walk away." Just then, Elijah wheeled in, wearing a new polo shirt with the clinic's logo embroidered over his heart. "Y'all didn't think you'd run this place without me, did you?" Emily laughed. "Planning to be our mascot? Something like that," he winked. "Or maybe security." The laughter was interrupted by a knock. A young woman stepped in, early 20s, anxious. "Excuse me, I saw the news. My little brother's sick, and we can't afford the ER." Emily's face turned serious. "Bring him in." Right now, within minutes, she was back in her element, taking vitals, calming the child, guiding his sister. It felt natural, not rushed, not about billing codes, just about healing. As she handed the boy a juice box and his sister tissues, the reality of it all hit her. This place was saving lives already. Outside, a familiar black SUV pulled up again. Out stepped a sharply dressed man, not the general this time, but a hospital administrator from the very facility that fired her. "He looked uncomfortable, Miss Carter," he said carefully. "We've seen the attention this clinic is getting. We'd like to offer you your position back. Maybe even a promotion." Emily stared at him, then slowly shook her head. "I didn't lose a job that day," she said. "I found my purpose." She turned away and rejoined her team. The administrator stood frozen, then walked back to his car. The door shut with a quiet thud, like a chapter closing.